I was muted apparently. All right,
There you
guys. My bad. Welcome into the Sportscast. This show's Brian and Craig. Little technical difficulties here, but sorry about that. How are you doing, Craig?
are. How are you?
I am good. I am good. A little tired. Been working 6 days a week, the last 3 weeks, but I think that's over now, so that's a good thing. We're gonna talk about. We got to talk about the Super Bowl, obviously the recap. Maybe get into our favorite commercials, whatnot. And then we're going to talk about the Luka trade because we really haven't sat down and talked about it, how we feel about it. When going a little bit of rant about that BS, and then whatever else we may talk about. I don't know if you got any hockey news for us or an update or anything like that.
The greatest hockey game I've ever seen is on right now, and we're missing it. There was three fights in the first 9 seconds. There was three guys in each penalty box in the USA versus Canada in the start of tonight's Four Nations game.
Oh, it's the Four Nations game. Okay, all right. I know that's something new they started this year. Um, what's up, Derpy? Glad to see you here. Derpy says that was the worst Super Bowl since the Rams Patriots. I I think it was the worst Super Bowl. I mean, the worst one I've ever seen was the Broncos and Seahawks when the Seahawks just murdered Peyton Manning. I think that was the worst one that I can remember. But there was a positive, yes, regardless of the positive outcome. 100%. Thank you, Eagles, for doing the job. All right, not letting the Chiefs skate away through another year where they kind of seem like they just moseyed their way onto the Super Bowl, um, winning a lot of games by one possession, and then they get smacked in the Super Bowl. And we talked about it, Craig. Um, I think the biggest takeaway, obviously, is the Eagles' defense. How dominant that front four was. We talked about it the week before. How they have to ru- rush with four. You're just your four down linemen and protect with the rest. And they dominated the Chiefs. I mean, it wasn't even close. Um, I don't think we've seen Patrick Mahomes dominated like that. They played his worst half of football. So it is. It was great to see. I loved every second of it. I know, you being a Cowboys fan, I don't know how you felt about it, being, that the Eagles are your hated rival, but I don't know, how does it feel to be a Cowboys fan watching that happen and unfold, even though you probably didn't want the Chiefs to win, but you know, I don't know.
Well, you just didn't see it coming because um, neither side of the football played like that all year. The Chiefs offensive line, you never saw Mahomes under under emergency duress, um, week in week out. The offensive line wasn't a huge topic coming into the game. It wasn't like, hey, I think the Chiefs offensive line is a weak pot a weak spot in this football game, and you need to watch it. And the Eagles front four, there was um there was some bits and pieces, a game here, a game there, where one guy would have, but all the whole front four was in the backfield all night. They just lived back there, and they changed the complexity of the whole football game.
Yeah, and it's just like, we talk about it. I don't know how much you can really blame Patrick Mahomes with no time, and
Yeah, I mean, no
Travis
time.
Kelsey didn't have a very good game at all. He dropped the one of the passes, and Patrick Mahomes was not very accurate at all. I mean, they put enough pressure on him where he is just throwing just off. I mean, he threw the ball at Kelsey's ankles. He missed a wide open running back in the flat, and just off all night. And I jokingly we talk about the NFL script, and if you ever guys for going forward, if you ever hear us talk about the script, neither one of me or Craig or Jeff think the NFL is actually scripted. We just laugh at the joke that it is. At least I know I don't. But the script said it was supposed to be 24-7.5, and it was 17-0. And my buddy Dustin was over for the Super Bowl, and it was like 2 minutes. We are like, I wonder how they're gonna get to 24 because the Chiefs hit the ball, and I said it's a pick six right here. Very next play, I kid you not, Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six to Cooper DeJean, and he takes it back for the pick six, and we were just kind of laughing about it. But you know, I was surprised. I was looking, thinking that the Chiefs were going to make the adjustments coming down to halftime. Andy Reid, that's what they usually do, and it just seemed more of nothing. And you know, you never, I'm still not counting the Chiefs out for next year. They'll probably be back next season there. But I want to talk a little bit about Philly because, you know, honestly, I'm not a big Eagles fan. Obviously, I'm a Packers fan. I don't really care about the Eagles. They beat us twice this season, but I've got to like what the organization has done, putting this team together. And then you look at what they've said. Each of their superstars after the Super Bowl, they said, how does it feel? And we're not done. Like, we're hungry. This one, you don't build a legacy on you build a legacy on rings. And I think if they keep this core together, um, then I think their success is, going forward next season will be back in contention to win the division and playoffs and all that stuff. So the future looks bright in Philly, honestly.
Um, I gained an absolute newfound respect for Saquon Barkley this season,
Yep.
and not just for the Super Bowl and not just for the playoffs, but on numerous occasions you saw clips where he has an opportunity to get the most rushing yards he's ever had in a football game, and the head coach comes and sits next to him and says, "Hey, listen, you're this many yards from the most you've ever had in a football game. I want you to get that if you want it." And he looks at him and is like, "No, let the young kids play. I don't need to go out there." And um, the last game of the season where he has the chance to pass, even though there's an extra game and all this stuff, he had a chance to pass a record that we really never thought if Barry Sanders or Emmett Smith or some of these guys couldn't do it. Um, then here's a record we didn't think would ever be broken in the total yards in the year, and he has I mean, not only an opportunity to do it, but almost a gimme to do it. And
Yeah.
the Eagles decide, hey, we're not going to play him this week, and the reports are all that Barkley's heated and Barkley's this and Barkley's that, and they interviewed him. Barkley goes, no. He goes, what happens? He goes, if I go out there, he goes, I only play one speed. He goes, and that's wide open. He
Yeah.
goes, so what happens if I get out there and break one down the sidelines and blow a hamstring? He goes, and I'm done for the playoffs. He goes, what good's that to us? He goes, what's that record do? He goes, yeah, it'd be great. He goes, but if I go blow a hamstring and we get knocked out in the first round, that's on me. He's like, we're not doing this. And all during the Super Bowl, he's walking up and down the sidelines. Hey, it's 0-0. It's 0-0. It's not 24-0. It's not 40. He's like, we're not. And even the quarterback walks up to him. He goes, hey, this is on you. And Barkley goes, no, no, no. It's on. He goes, we all did it. He goes, no. He goes, you're the piece that held this together. You're the piece that was missing. He goes, and you came in here and did it. And we've talked about it
Mm-hmm. All year.
countless times of waiting on the other shoe to drop and that locker room imploding and the quarterback not having the locker room and we talked about all of it and we talked about that we thought Barkley was what held it all together and I believe he did. I believe he
100%.
and he stays healthy and they asked him about he had numerous opportunities to take a shot at the Giants organization and never once He's like, no. Matter of fact, they called me after the thing, congratulated me. He's like, I'm absolutely good with those guys. He's like, I'm fine. I don't know if that's true or not, but at the end of the day, like I said, he had numerous chances to take shots, and he just never did.
Yeah.
And that's just not the kind of person, not the kind of player that you thought he was. And so it'll be interesting to see if he has the continued success um, going forward with Philadelphia.
I saw a cool video of him in the parade where he's walking around and the fans are on the other side of the barricade and he's
Yeah,
kind of high-fiving, and then he notices the ball boy for
right.
the Eagles is there, not in the parade but on with the fans, and he gives him a hug and he's like, "Hey, what, you should be over here." And he's like, "No." And he picks him up over the guardrail and says, "You're going to walk the parade with me." I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
Um that's just class
From the
act.
lowest guy on the payroll to him, he says that, no, you're part of this.
Yeah.
You're
That is
part of this organization. You're part of this, and that's exactly, the you just didn't hear that side of him. Maybe he's always been that guy,
yeah.
but you didn't hear any of that in New York. You didn't hear about his leadership. You didn't hear about. All you heard about was he was hurt and didn't come up in the big game and didn't show up in the big moment and wanted all this money and didn't earn it, and you heard a lot of bad things about Saquon Barkley in the New York media, and I think it's a bad rap. I really do.
Yeah, this unless he came and just had a change of
I mean, maybe
leadership or heart or whatever. I mean, I've never heard really much about his personal life or his attitude in New York. It just he seemed always hurt, and that was kind of the thing. And he comes to Philly and runs behind the best offensive line and with a great defense, and it rolled well really well for them. And at the end of the day, I think we got to put some little respect on Jalen Hurts. At the end of the day, I don't think we're very high on him, but we sat here and said if Saquon Barkley doesn't run the ball in the Super Bowl, they're not going to win. And Hurts proved us wrong. He didn't really run the ball. They shut him down, and Hurts was able to make the plays when he needed to. He ran the ball really well and efficiently
that
when he needed
that
to.
strike he had to
Smith in the end zone,
in the end zone.
beautiful,
I mean,
beautiful pass.
in stride.
And so, I mean, he threw it so well. There's Saquon and them are holding their hands up before the ball even gets there. They're
Yeah,
like, "That's touchdown, baby." And he played well. So we've got to
he did,
get a little
and he
respect.
deserved the MVP. There was
Yep.
no doubt. You could have gave it to some of the defenders. You could have, you wondered if the way the defense played, but no, he earned it. He put up 40 points against a team that hadn't let up a ton, and that's, if you're Washington, you got to be looking and going, hey, you guys said we sucked because they beat the brakes off us, but look what they did to that team over
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not. Maybe they were just that good.
Yeah. And it doesn't bowl well for the Dallas Cowboys. Speaking of Ryan Sims here, he says Cowboys are 13-4 in 2025. You heard it here first. I don't. I don't think that, but I know Ryan, you're the Homer Cowboy fan usually, but
I
um,
mean, I haven't looked at the schedule, but that seems,
way too high.
yeah,
The MVP of the Super Bowl was the defense. Yeah, I mean the Eagles' defense was 100% the reason that they won. But I mean, I think Hurts usually quarterbacks didn't get it. He played well. He outrushed Saquon Barkley. He made the throws when he needed to. So I mean, you know, easily like you said, Craig, it could have gone to a guy that had 2 sacks or a guy that Cooper DG with the interception, but Hurts deserved it.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, let's see here. Is there any commercials that stood out to you that you really liked, or I mean,
No, I mean they were better than they have been in the past, but I mean nothing that was just
there's nothing too memorable for me. I'm trying to even think of the Super Bowl commercials. What do you think of the halftime show? I thought it was terrible, but
Um,
most of the time they are.
yeah, if it's not your genre of music, then you probably think it was terrible. But from what I'm reading you know, the
Apparently, it was the highest
appar-
watched Super Bowl halftime show in the history of.
right, and apparently there was some, personal vendetta axe to grind in the middle of it. But
Yeah, but if you don't follow all that, then it's like
yeah, if you didn't follow all that, then
it is what it
it
is.
was just what it was. You know.
Well, we do have the draft coming up soon, Ryan. I would like you to come on for a draft show if you wouldn't mind. If not, then I'll get Craigo to do it with me. I mean, you could be on it too, Craig, if you want. But the draft's coming around the corner. But
Yeah,
it's
I've already
time.
started to make my notebook.
There you go. It is time we transition into other sports. Okay, and it can be a hard transition when your basketball team trades away their best player. And um, I'm really looking forward to baseball this season. I think the Rangers are going to be a lot better than they were last season. We've got to hope our pitching staff stays healthy is the biggest part of that, and our bats come alive because last year our bats disappeared and injuries. We had 4 or 5 starting pitchers on the injured list, and we don't have Max Scherzer anymore, any of that. But so I'm great at getting into some baseball talk, starting coming soon. Pitchers and catchers are there in spring, training right now, and it's getting that time again, Craig. I know it's one of your favorite times of the year. So, but let's get into the Luka trade, Craig. And I've got quite a few bullet points I want to hit on. Um, First of all, we all know the Mavericks traded Luka in a coffee shop with between Nico Harrison and Rob Palinka, and traded him for Mr. Street Clothes Anthony Davis, who lives up to his name after one game Dallas, and a bag of potato chips. Okay, um, you traded away your future. You had about another good 5 to 7 years with Luca, maybe 10, depending. Probably not that long, depending, because his work ethic is apparently not good enough to get all you can. He's not going to have the LeBron James type of I'm going to play till I'm 45. But you trade away your future. You traded away the hope of the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. Um, you say your biggest thing is this guy can't take you where you want to go. His work ethic's not there. Well, let me tell you something, okay? Luca in the playoffs last season led the following categories. In all the playoffs last year, he led in points, he led in rebounds, he led in assists, he led in steals, field goals, 3 points, free throws, and minutes. He led in all that when it mattered most in the playoffs. He led in all those categories. But I can see the liability is getting you to where you want to go. It's an absolute joke. They might as well just think the Maverick fans are dumb enough just to accept their excuses. You try to villainize the fan base of the Mavericks by, you got some death threats, which we all understand. Death threats are ridiculous, and those fans are dumb for making them. But you go out there and you turn it on the fan base, like the fan base is way overreacting to this. You have to get a security team because you feel like your life's in danger, which they don't think it ever really was. You try to make us the villains, which the fan base has every right to be as mad as they are. And then your owner, Patrick Dumont, one of the owners, and I'm going to quote him here. It says, "If you look at the greats in the league, the people you and I grew up with, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a single focus to win. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work. You shouldn't be a part of the Dallas Mavericks." End quote. Well, hey, dumbass, you forgot to mention the Dallas Mavericks superstar Dirk Nowitzki that had that work ethic that you don't think Luca has. How out of touch do you seem? Then you name Shaquille O'Neal in there. Well, we all know Shaquille O'Neal did not have a great work ethic. Kobe Bryant himself said, if he had half the work ethic I had, he would have a lot more championships. You just sound so numb. You don't even know the organization that you own. How do you forget the name Dirk Nowitzki in that if you're trying to make a point? Um, and then, not to mention all these facts, you over the offseason, we bring in Klay Thompson, and you're thinking, man, finally a guy that Luka can find wide open to hit threes. Well, then you take that away. I'm sure Kyrie can find him too, but not as often, probably. They're probably not going to double team him as much. And if you're expecting Klay Thompson to create his own shot, that's not him anymore. His knees aren't there anymore. He's going to play some defense and he's going to shoot the 3-point shot, but he's not going to dribble the ball and make his own shots. This is an absolute nightmare situation with the Dallas Mavericks. The PR is absolutely nightmarish. You've left the fans with no hope, and all your players are injured now. Craig, it's almost like I want just the downfall of the Dallas Mavericks, just so we can say, "We told you so."
You might just get it. Um, I'm sitting here on Saturday night, and we didn't do the show, so I'm sitting here scrolling through my phone and just killing some time, and pops across my phone, and I go, I clearly didn't just read that right. I clearly didn't just read that Luka Doncic, that the Mavericks have traded Luka for a sack of marbles and a used bubblegum wrapper. What in the world? And so I go to I got, you know, 900 sources on my phone, and I start going to them, and one after another, it's the same thing. I'm going, oh, this is real. So I throw it out there, and of course, I break the internet. When I throw it out there, people are like, "You are a moron. That you have just been taken." You know, it's an April Fool's joke. I'm like, well, too bad it's February and it's not April. But I just none of this makes sense. Everything you're saying, he can't get us to where we need to be. Well, he's taken you to a Western Conference Finals, and he's taken you to an NBA Finals already. Already. Um, and that was really with not a lot of depth,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of
No one expected that last season. Nobody.
nobody. The stars and the sun aligned right with Utah being eliminated, or deal, and you got an easier path, and you play a Golden State Warriors team, in the final, in the West Finals, that probably didn't expect to be there anyway, and beat them. And listen, I didn't really ever agree with the Jason Kidd hire when you hired Kidd as a head coach. I just didn't see that was the guy. I kind of thought they did Carlisle wrong, running him out of town the way they did. I just don't see Kidd as I see Kidd as more of a just a figurehead, not kind of like Dallas. If you look at Dallas, they're being run very similarly to the team across town, where ownership is pulling all the strings. I'm not sure Kidd was even involved in this. I think Kidd was called to the office and said, "Hey, by the way, you don't have Luke anymore." And he went, "What? Yeah, you got Anthony Davis, and you got Max Christie, and oh, you don't have a first round pick we'll get a bonus one down the line. Which I mean, that team's going to be good for 4 or 5 years. That pick's gonna be garbage. That pick won't be a lottery pick. I mean, granted, by that point in time, LeBron won't be in the league anymore. But with Luka over there, it'll still be good. Um, when Cuban sold his part of it, I thought he maintained. I thought he maintained enough of it to still be in charge of the basketball operation. And
Fair
clearly,
enough.
I misread that. Clearly, I misunderstood that because there's zero chance this happens with Cuban as part of this organization. I mean,
He
Cuban had said, they said, "Will you ever trade Luca?" And he said, "I'll I'll divorce my wife before I ever trade Luca."
there he came out and said that he talked to Nico and said, "Do not trade Luca." Tried to get him to understand that it's it's more to this town than just a basketball player. This is a guy we drafted that we watched grow up. You know, it's not some free agent that came in here. It's someone we drafted,
Yeah,
someone we
it's not
watched, someone we
not the
felt
Porzingis trade that you traded him and
right.
it didn't work out and we can trade him away. It wasn't the Kyrie where we traded for him or signed him and then it didn't work out and we can trade him away. Uh
And I
Mind
just,
blowing.
it's mind boggling, and
Yeah.
it's a trade
And then
so
and then
bad.
Anthony Davis
Everyone's
plays one game and he's hurt and he's gone the rest of the season.
yeah, it's just a laughing stock, and I hope the fans stop showing up.
Well,
I hope they
then
show
they
up to
show up,
protest,
they
and they
show
don't.
up and protest and then they get ejected from the arena.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that part. How cowardly the Mavericks organization looks when a fan holds up a sign and gets kicked out of a game, or Mavs fire Nico and gets kicked out of the stadium. That is some cowardly BS, and it is, it is absolutely atrocious, and it's just the worst PR nightmare for the Mavericks. Um, it's just insane. But let's get into the basketball here a little bit as we're talking about it. Um, the, they had to change up the All Star game because the All Star game is so bad. Last year, I think it was like 210 to 190. I mean, I don't. It's like, what's the point? Apparently, it's split into three teams. Going to do a little tournament style or four-team tournament style thing. I don't know if anybody watches the All Star game anymore. But right now, you got in the Eastern Conference, you've got the Cavaliers at 44-10, and Boston Celtics number two there. New York Knicks in third place. The the Bucks are a little shocker. They're fifth place at 29-24, and the 76ers have taken a plunge this season with their superstar always hurt and injured. Uh, and in the Western Conference, you got the Oklahoma
You're
City
saying he needs surgery again and is going to miss
again.
all kinds of time. I think he's going to play through it or try to play through it, but
He's a
he needs.
guy that if they traded him, I think the league would go, okay, I understand this because he's
Right,
never
right.
healthy. Oklahoma in the Western Conference leads at 44-10, winning record. This is a team last year. Mavericks beat in the playoffs. The team that is good and talented, but not not ready to win yet. Like it's the team that
Well,
usually in the basketball you see a team good, they take their licks and then they learn a little bit more and they come back next season and go a little bit further and maybe they go all the way this year in the Western
they
Conference. We'll
they
see.
took they took all their draft picks. They
Mm.
stockpiled draft picks for years,
And they
and
hit
then
on
they cashed in on them,
them. Mm.
and they hit on every single one of them. Gildas Alexander, and they hit on all of them. And I'll tell you, a team that's surprising was is in the East in the Cavs. That didn't see that coming at all. They started the season shit. I think they started the season 22-1 or twenty
Yeah.
two and 0. I mean, I was just like, what the world? And another team you look at in the East is the Detroit Pistons, who have been, I don't know, they've
A
won
lot better
nine
than
games. They've won 9 games the last 2 or 3 years, and now they're in the like the sixth seed, I think, 5 seed, six
Yeah,
seed.
60 right now behind the Bucks.
You know,
Surprising to me is the Rockets. They're fourth in the Western Conference.
right?
They were bottom of the
Another
barrel
team,
last year.
another team that capitalized on some trades and capitalized on the getting rid of the beard and um just really made some good moves and it all added up.
The Lakers are at five there, and the Mavericks are at eight. So shows you where they're
Yeah,
at.
I don't think Dallas um I don't think Dallas makes the playoffs, and I think a lot of people get fired and they retool the organization. And although I don't believe that that's fair, I believe that that's what'll happen.
All right, we'll start talking more about basketball coming in the second half, second down the stretch here. Craig, fill us in on hockey. What's going on with this new I don't know what you call it, Nationals game or
Well, it's
um
a it's a four nations tournament, and basically it's kind of like a Olympic style tournament right in the middle of the season. You got guys from all the different teams break up to go play a 2 week tournament in the middle of the hockey season, which is cool and great,
and
but
insane at the same
also
time.
insane at the same time because you got teams that are making you know Stanley Cup runs, and if one of your guys gets blasted and hurt and is going to miss the start of the season. But I mean, it's incredible to watch when you have guys. I mean, you have just all star line after all star line after all. I mean, you got guys that are playing on the fourth line that are on the top line at their team. Dylan Larkin plays for he's the leading guy for the Detroit Red Wings, and he's on the fourth line on this team over here. You've got dream scenarios um of people playing together. Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby playing together, and um, just one All Star after another after another after another, and it's really cool. And you know, um, I mean, we play in Canada all the time. Okay, and with the NHL, the NHL is big in Canada. You make your Canadian swing. You play in Calgary. You play in Vancouver. You play Montreal. You play all these games up there, and they play both national anthems every time we go in there. I mean, just like when they come here, we play both national anthems. And tonight they play the national anthem, and the whole arena boos when the United States,
Yeah,
national anthem comes on, and I'm like, what is this serious? I mean, this is crazy. They're playing it in Canada. They're playing it in Montreal in the Bell Center, the mecca of hockey, and I mean that place was rocking, and 9 seconds in they had three fights. Guys just, I mean, they dropped the puck and
nice.
guys dropped their gloves throwing
Just
hands. And
going
then
at
they
it.
reset, they drop the puck, two more guys throw hands. Then they finally are like, all right, are you guys done? Can we play some hockey? They throw the puck, take one shot, guy crashes the net, another fight. 9 seconds in, both penalty boxes had three guys on 5 minute major fighting penalties. Both coaches are like, what? We're not going to
Well,
have enough people to put a team out there. What are you guys doing?
that's
And
crazy.
I mean, just an electric atmosphere, and I think it's really cool. Now, I mean, you got a team. I mean, Sweden obviously hasn't won a game yet, so they're you know probably it's
It's
it's really
it's
it's
Canada,
really a two-horse
U.S.,
race.
Sweden,
It's
and
Sweden, Finland, the United States, and um, Canada. But So yeah, USA still up 2-1 with 12 minutes to go in the game. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool
Change up
deal.
to what?
Change
Yeah,
up to the All Star game. I mean, the All Star game was starting to be like basketball, where it just the skills competition was the best part of the whole thing,
yeah.
and um, so it's a little bit of a different deal, and guys that are in February of next year they'll play, and the NHL is going to have them play in the Olympics, so you'll see a similar type thing. So I think this will be an every other year thing. Will
That's
be
cool.
um, they'll do this in the off years of the Olympics, and they'll do the Olympics when the Olympics come around, and they shut it down for a couple weeks, and so um, it's a different little thing, but man, it's kind of like the World Baseball Classic. It is basically what it
Just in the
where they
middle of the
got the
season.
idea. It's
So
hockey's version of the World Baseball Classic, where guys go and play for their team and then come back and
is
you
this
all
just
join up.
a? Is it just a week or is it 2 weeks? How long is this thing lasting?
They got 2 weeks of break, so they
Oh,
basically um, they had a week to go skate off with their teams and kind of put a team together and put lineups together and kind of try to learn each other. And then earlier in the week was the first game, and then tonight is if the USA wins in regulation tonight, then they're in the automatically in the championship. Um, but which again, you're probably going to see a rematch of Canada and um, the United States. I don't see unless Finland can beat Canada because they Sweden's already basically eliminated. They are 0-2 and they got to play one more game, but it won't matter because they won't have enough points to qualify.
well, hey guys, if you like hockey, Craig's our hockey guy. I do like hockey. I don't know much into it as Craig does, so stick around for him and his hockey knowledge. And Craig's gonna get on and do some solo 10-minute little updates throughout the hockey season. Um, so look
I
forward
mean,
to that.
Dallas just looked good. They're the third. They have the third best record in the league. Um, they and it's really shocking because they have a ton of injuries, a ton
Yeah,
of
yeah.
major injuries. Sagan's gone for the year, and they just lost Marchment for 6 weeks, and he finally comes back. They've had three different guys that have taken pucks to the face and been completely. I mean, Marchment had to have completely reconstructive surgery. His nose was broken 9 places. I didn't even know a nose could
Oh,
break in 9 places.
oh.
Um, but they got the third best record in the league, and they just made a trade with the San Jose Sharks. Uh, Mikael Grunlund, and who goes and today for Finland wins the Four Nations game in overtime, and roofs one against Sweden, and Cody Ceci, a defenseman, and automatically the Jim Neal. You talk about a all-star general manager. That's the guy who needs to run every organization. He goes out and gets these guys, and he goes, "Oh, no, I didn't get these guys for this year." He goes, I both of them will be extended the second they get here, and he's giving them contracts and you know telling other guys that you won't be here. I hope you enjoy the next couple months because you know I don't have bad contracts on my roster, and you're not playing well. I mean, it's a very well run organization. It's very young, and I think they're going to be really good for a long time. And they do a really good job at paying their guys and extending their own guys. They just extended Sam Steele. They just extended Harley. They just extended Robertson. There's a little bit of fear that they won't be able to keep them all.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you have Wyatt Johnson, and there's been a rumor of him or Stan Coven being put in a trade to bring a big name in. I hope that's not the case, but
Especially White Johnson, man. He's too young.
yeah,
I mean,
I would
the
be
upside there.
devastated to lose Wyatt. Stan Coven, I wouldn't be I wouldn't do cartwheels, but I could swallow Stan Coven,
Yeah.
because he's 5'7" or 5'8", and you know it just doesn't, probably, if you get somebody but it would depend on who you get. If you get somebody that's generational, you get somebody like that. That's one thing, but I just don't think you're going to get what you got. And these guys love playing together, and have accepted the injuries and accepted the deals, and man, it's just really been fun to watch.
Yeah, Dallas has been good the last couple years, but it's just getting over that hump. And
Right,
we
right.
they've been successful. Yeah.
Since they've had Pete DeBoer, they've gone to the Western Conference Finals twice, back to back seasons. They just haven't been able to punch the ticket. They now in 2020 they go to the Cup. They didn't win, but they go to the
Yeah.
Cup in the bubble, and so they've had, in the last four seasons, you've had one Stanley Cup appearance and two Western Conference Final appearances. It's pretty solid,
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. So just hope they continue this, and hopefully when the guys come back, they be able to make that run to the playoffs and
Right.
continue their success. All right, guys. Well, we're looking to put out more content. If you like what you see, you like sports, we do a show every Saturday. We're gonna throw a little more videos in between there. Jeff's been not been able to be on tonight, but he's killing it with the shorts and the funny clips. We get ready for baseball season. We get ready for the downstretch of basketball and hockey. Um, it is that time, Craig. What is in your locker, man?
Not a lot. Um, trying to unwind from a really crazy couple weeks of work and just outside of work, and it's really just been nonstop for 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to this. This is supposed to be like the downtime of year where and then we get some crazy weather. This afternoon it was 80 or 75, and then you go outside tonight and it's 26. Only in Texas does that happen,
Texas
where
is on its period.
you could wear shorts in the thing, and now you need to run the heater and bundle up with a parka. So no, just trying to get into some kind of semblance of a day to day, deal. I switch shifts, and trying to get back in the swing of the early shift, and get sleep and still have
A life
a life
outside of
outside of
that.
just
Yeah.
constantly sleeping all the time. But no, it's been good, and I look forward to getting in a routine, and just um, putting out more stuff. Hockey, baseball. This is my wheelhouse time of year. I just I like hockey and I like baseball, really, honestly, more than football, and can just really throw things off the top of my head that most people don't know. So yeah, just looking forward to that. How about you?
Work's been absolutely crazy busy. Um, it's been nonstop. I've worked the last 3 Saturdays, but this should be the last Saturday I got to work. Uh, it's going good though. I got a raise this week and getting a bonus paid out next week, and so right now is a really good time. Other than that, I've been working for the doing stuff for the podcast, and I got another podcast started called The Average Dad Reviews, where my buddy and I review different things, and we're doing a rewatch of Breaking Bad, so I'm gonna put that out soon. We've already got a lot of episodes already kind of piled up and ready to go. So look forward to that. We're going to review different things as far as TV shows, movies, um, different things. But that's fun. But and just getting ready for baseball, man. And hockey and getting back into the other sports that I love. And my favorite sport is football. So when it does go away, it's a little disappointing. But right around the corner is some really good sports as well as baseball is my second favorite, and then I'd probably do hockey and then basketball. The way basketball's gotten, but um, just doing good, just staying busy. Got you know Valentine's for the girls, or they had a half day on Friday. They're off on Monday and Tuesday. I'm like, wow. I mean, what are we doing here? Why don't you get so much time off lately? Um, but no, doing really good, man.
I get Monday,
Doing good.
but I don't get Tuesday.
Yeah, or a half day on Friday. I'm like, why don't we? They. But anyways, I hope we don't have any bad weather. It's supposed to they say some more ice is coming
Well,
Wednesday night or
it's gonna be
Tuesday night.
55 Tuesday afternoon, and then it's gonna get down to 15, and there's supposed to be rain somewhere in there. So rain and 15 degrees do not add up.
Yeah, so I told the wife today Texas is on its period and it can't make up its mind, and that's usually during February. Um, but other than that, man, just looking forward to um kicking out more content. So, um, all right, guys. Well, that's the show tonight. We'll be back on next Saturday. Look forward to that, and look forward to our in betweens. We're gonna throw out clips of whatever breaking news, headlines of the week, whatever. Craig is gonna jump on, do some hockey, maybe some baseball. Jeff, will do the same and do his little shorts, and his shorts have been funny. If you haven't been watching those, go watch them. You'll have a good laugh. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of the show tonight. God bless, and remember,
Keep it outspoken.
real quick here, Jeff or Craig. Um,
Yeah, I was like, fuck